Welcome, foolish mortals.
Time to be turning around. If only you could.
'Cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Hey, Henry, what's holding you up? Let's get on with the show. We can't hang around here all day.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las
Podcast.
Shining at the end of every day.
There's no turning back now.
This is the greatest show!
It's coming over the lights.
Runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true. It's taking over you. This is the greatest show.
Now it's time for the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast with your hosts, Michael Hurley and Gary Aruda. That's right. This is the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast, episode number 500, recorded from the D. Fauntleroy Studios in Kent County, Rhode Island, and sunny Southwest Florida. I'm your host, Gary, joined as always by my co-host and my cousin Mike down in Florida. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing well. How you doing, buddy?
Happy 500.
Yeah, happy 500.
It's been a long time, almost 10 years. I was going back looking at the episodes this morning, seeing when we switched over. We switched over from Por Favor podcast in like February of 2019. So we've been almost half amount time as WDW Beyond the Gates as we have been Por Favor podcast. So it's quite a journey we've been on. I can't believe almost.
Can you believe people would ask the name of our podcast and you would tell them it's the Por Favor podcast?
The Por Favor podcast. That was very stupid, wasn't it? Oh, is it in Spanish?
And we did it for that long.
For a long time. It came up as like.
It was like in all like the Spanish speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the algorithm threw it out to the Hispanic community.
Yeah, it didn't really help with our audience build.
No, it's almost like we are a new podcast.
That's true. What's happening? You excited? What'd you do to prepare? Were you taking like an ice bath and drinking carrot juice and stuff today? Like,
oh yeah,
mentally ready.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. It's probably the most
cucumbers over my eyes after we played golf today.
That's good. How was
that
the
helps?
game?
Yeah, it certainly helps.
Yeah, you guys won the quota game today.
No thanks to me.
No, you didn't help too
much.
Oh,
I was so bad. It was the worst I played in months.
Oh, that's not good. And you didn't play for a few months, so that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I had like 3 pars.
That's not bad.
No, but no, it was bad.
I mean, if you made 3 pars and 15 bogeys, you wouldn't be that upset. That's like an 87. That's a serviceable 87.
That didn't happen.
And not 15 bogeys though. What else is new? We got a lot of people in the waiting room here. Does that make you nervous?
I mean, I don't even know if they want to jump on. I mean, you've gotten them. The M&Ms has requested.
Yes, we did have the riders come in.
They're in the green room. I don't see them wanting to come in anytime soon.
No, that's true. I figured we wouldn't do any breaks. We're just going to talk to some of our favorite people that have been on the show, people that haven't. Just popping in. If you're watching live and you want to,
there's no brown M&Ms in the green room, FYI.
No brown. Were there supposed to be? That's what we don't know.
It was on the list. I mean, it was on his request.
We got it right. But yeah, I mean, we have some people some familiar voices and some new voices and faces that you'll see in here. But like I said, if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook, leave a comment for us, and we will. We could send you a link if you want to come on and pop in and say hello. But I guess might as well just bring some people on right now. We got a few people in here.
Like our little game show. Let's start bringing people in here.
You want to bring them all in? Look at this. Look at this cadre. Everyone's muted though. I got to unmute everybody. Except for Schaefer. He's the only one that's not
down there in the Brady Bunch group. He's got his, his work clothes on. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at work, so I have to.
I think Schaefer's bringing bringing the audio quality down.
Yeah, that's true as well.
We got a lot of echo coming out of East Lansing, Michigan.
Well, if it's like anything, like whenever he joins us, his laptop usually dies in
Yeah,
about
that's a
10
good
minutes
point.
anyway. So you'll see him leaving shortly.
I just muted him, so that's good. I think that saves it. We have Zach joining us once again. Long time no talk. Zach, how you been?
Right. I'm doing good. We're doing
Oh, that
good.
studio's nice.
Yeah, I took over my wife's office.
There you go. We have Angry Newfield Jr. with us.
Happy 500th, boys.
Thank you, sir. How you doing today?
Not too bad. A little warm up here in the little roadie, isn't it?
I was gonna say, enjoying the warm weather. Everyone out on the water again.
Yeah, it was delightful.
I'm sure. We have Tony with us. I think he may have muted himself. There he is. What's going on, Tony?
Hey, I'm honored. I feel honored. Except I noticed Zach has an Ohio State shirt on, and we'll have to discuss that later. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Something. I think Schaefer's audio. I just unmuted you again. I didn't get any feedback. So I might have to bump Schaefer out. You want to say anything before I get ready to
He's getting thrown off the show.
Well, I mean, it sounds like crap. I can't have him on here ruining number
This
500.
is beautiful.
I can hear in his background.
Yeah, I think that's enough from.
I mean, with all the tax dollars that's going to that East Lansing Fire Department, could we not maybe get a camera and a Rode microphone for crying out loud?
Yeah.
Can you put that in the budget?
In the union, go on strike for it. Get it the next union contract.
I'll walk with you, Schaefer. Let's get yourself a microphone and some nice headphones.
Yeah.
I got nothing to do. I'm not going to play golf anymore. I'll walk out there with you.
Well, thank you for trying, Mike. If you get a better audio quality, you could pop back in. But I'm getting rid of you for now, bud. Sorry. All right, I have no idea what he's saying. He's gone. He got booted. What do you want me to do? You want to keep him on, Mike? I don't know.
I just booted him.
Oh.
He hasn't been on the show in months. You just XOX.
All right, you want to?
You got your 30 seconds. You're out.
He's been waiting for this day. Just end it.
Ruined his week.
It's like the day that we finally get advertisers on, and you're throwing them off. I can't hear you. Get lost.
Oh, was Mike from Michigan our big advertiser?
Yeah.
We have Luke also joining us. I don't know. Is he popping in on stage, or is he just going to be in the background, Phil?
That's totally your call.
Well, if he wants to come in, we could talk to him. We'll bring him in when we talk a little more DVC. But I think Mike wanted to talk some cruise line, I believe, right, Mike? That was one of your big topics. We have Zach is no longer a Disney parks fan. He's just exclusively a cruise guy now. So Mike wants to get some of your opinion on the cruising. So why don't you go ahead and talk about that? But
So how many cruises have you been on total? Because I remember you were a virgin like up until 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I've been on 8 now. 8, yeah.
In
That's all you care about.
Caribbean, did you
Yeah,
recently
so we
do in
did-
Alaska?
No, I got Alaska coming up in September. It's like first week of September, last week August, something like that. I think it's first week of September, but yeah. And then what else we got? We just booked a couple other ones. We're going on one in end of April, or no, beginning of April. We're going on one, and then we're also going to the new island first week of July, Lighthouse Point, and then we got Alaska, and then next year we're booked for March for the Treasure, the new one. New ship.
It's 11 cruises. I don't want to say he knows what a spleen goes for in the open market, but someone's been harvesting organs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing.
And talking about selling spleens, you only go concierge now. Is that correct?
Yeah, it changed a lot of things doing that the one time.
So
And
I have to
it's
know.
like-
I need to know about this because every time we price a cruise out, we're like, there's no way I'm paying concierge.
It's different. So the last one we went on, we boarded the boat and they have like a special lunch for like the concierge people in one of the restaurants. And we were waiting in line to get into the lunch, and we hear somebody start yelling our names, and we're like, "What the heck?" And we turned around, and it was one of the concierge people from like a cruise we were on a year ago that they remembered us. So it's like
Oh,
that
boy.
doesn't happen, I guess, anywhere else.
No, not
And it's
normally.
just, I mean, the stuff that they, I mean, the drinks are just, I mean, the drinks are the drinks, but yeah, just the service that you get. One time we had to talk to, we would have needed to talk to like guest services, port excursions, and somebody else, which they all have like 5, 10 minute waits, 15-minute waits to get in line to talk to those people on the boat. But in concierge, you just walk right up to the concierge lounge and they're like, yeah, we can help you with everything right now. So we save 45 minutes just by talking to one person rather than everybody.
So have you converted all your travel budget to cruising away from the parks now, more or less?
So I was talking to my wife the other day. I've been in the parks. We normally would be in the parks like 2, 3 weeks a year. I think we were in them for 3 days this year. And it was like the day before getting on a cruise ship or the day after getting on a cruise ship type of thing.
That's crazy. Just a total 180.
Could be complete 180.
Because you weren't even a cruise guy before that, right?
No, I mean, the first one we went on was in 2021. And I
you're
mean, that's the first
instant
time.
convert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Have
it
you
was
been on a
complete.
cruise, Tony?
No, I have a question for Zach,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up?
But have you ever done concierge on another cruise line?
I have not. No, I've actually never
Okay.
even been on another cruise line.
Okay, because I was wondering if you noticed
Yeah.
the difference. Okay.
Yeah. So I've only ever been on a Disney
Okay.
cruise.
Okay. I was
You
just
tell
trying to.
Tony, you said you're a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're raising your hand. You just could butt in with us. You don't have to
Well,
be
I
so
know
polite.
I can, but I don't. I in a former life, I was on a show, and I always butted in, so I don't want to butt in. I want to be that to that guy. But okay, yeah, I'm jealous of all your cruises, Zach. We want to go on one in what are we the dates that just popped out for early 2025. My school district
Yep.
gets off that President's Week.
Yep.
And so that's a good time. I'm in Northern California. It's cold, relatively speaking, up here. And so I want to go back to the warmth. And I looked at those and I have an idea of one, but I'm trying to do one of those DVC point swaps things.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out whether I really have the points. But yeah, I want to do one of the Bahamas ones.
Yeah. I haven't figured out. Well, I mean, I figured out that using points for cruises isn't a good deal. But if you can rent your points and then use
Well,
those
that's
monies,
so.
use the money to.
I don't know if they have a financial relationship with you guys or not, but you know the DVC rental store has their thing where they'll take your points, and I'm trying to do that for that cruise. But I looked at my points and realized I might not have the points I thought I did. So, because I thought I didn't realize.
That's because I got your number and I'm starting to book under your
Yeah, I
your
know.
DVC
Yeah.
number instead of
Yeah,
mine.
that's why I did it.
We're looking forward to that 3-bedroom grand villa on your points, Tony.
Yeah,
Thank you for
exactly.
that.
I don't have that many points. This was my version of payola. I gave him 9 so I could get on a show.
We will accept that version of payola anytime.
Yeah. So
doesn't even have to be 9.
No, I got a resale contract, and then I went. I can't get to not. I'm never going to be able to use 9 points. I looked at I called. You were my last choice, Mike. My last choice. Trying to make money off of them. It's like, is there anything else I could do? I was like, you know what? I know he's a local guy. He gets like.
I'm everybody's last choice, aren't I, Gary?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
You tried to get your kids on the show before they could even speak, and they declined.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just going to go to waste. I didn't realize it, so I was like, okay, who's local?
Use it or lose it. Mike just stepped up to the plate.
I took one for the team parts.
We appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah, nothing personal, Gary, but I went, he lives there, and I was like, he can use it, so it wasn't against you specifically.
That's okay. I accept that. I was
So
just thinking-
technically, Mike was the second to last choice, Gary. You were his
Yeah,
last
right.
choice.
Yep.
Yeah, if Mike happened to be busy in September, he would have emailed me. But
And that's
here
what
we are.
sucks about going on cruises as a teacher is I've got to go highest price ever because it's when everybody
Right,
else
that's when the
goes.
week is. Yeah.
And I don't want kids to be on the ship because I want to get away from kids, but they're going to be
Oh
on the
yeah.
ship.
Amen. Amen to that.
Even though I know it's, I always think of whenever Mike's talking about how much he hates kids.
Well, that's the nice thing about the private
I'm
island.
that open on the podcast, huh?
I figured it out. It's okay. Hey, they pay my bills. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
How
Well, yeah,
much
that's-
Mike
that's-
hates kids.
He
Turning
hates
that
kids
next
in
bumper
general.
sticker.
There's specific kids he likes, but in general, he doesn't like kids.
He's
I
always
remember
been
the
good to my
show-
kids.
Huh?
I remember the show where he talked about wanting to like kick him under in the spa and every time he's talking about wanting to do things like on the down low for kids that are being bad, I'm always like, God, I wish I could do that. But
I
So I'm
actually
with you.
think Tony might be referring to my comment that I wanted to.
Yeah.
oh, was it you?
I think that was
Sorry.
me. Yeah, the world,
It was the other angry guy.
the hot tub in Grand California.
Oh
that
yes,
was me.
that one. I'm with you. Yeah, no,
Two kids playing full contact water polo in the hot
yeah,
tub.
no.
I think the biggest
see, you
thing
would-
is Mike will have an intrusive thought and he'll just say it where most people are like, I probably shouldn't say
Yeah.
that in mixed company, but Mike doesn't have that filter.
He
which is
doesn't
fine.
hesitate.
Well,
Did you
and
ever
Phil,
hear the
you went
story?
in. If I
What
saw
were you gonna
kids,
say?
I wouldn't go in.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. We usually, yeah.
What story, Mike?
At Typhoon Lagoon,
I'm sure you've told it, but I don't remember.
I was getting my ass grabbed by like an 8-year-old boy.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going up the stairs on a slide, and I think it's Kristen. And I just keep
Luke is
looking-
laughing right now.
We're
I
about to
kinda-
lose our family friendly rating any second
I-
here.
I kind of
I
want to
keep-
pop
I-
him in just because he's losing his mind right now. There he is. Just here you go, Mike. You can filter your story a
So
little more.
I finally told her, I go, will you knock it off? And she's like, it's not me. I'm like, then who is it? And like I turned around right when he was about to grab it, and it was a 9-year-old kid. He kept, I don't know what what was going on, or it was a whole walk up the slide.
That's very interesting. At least, hey, it's better than it being the other way around, Pards. We
Oh
have
well,
bigger problems.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It was
Only
very
cost me
very
$3
bizarre.
and a Mickey bar to get that kid to do that.
Has it ever? That's
Yeah.
never happened. I assume to you guys.
No, I don't think that's super common.
Absolutely
It's not common. Okay.
No, I just heard you start talking about that. And I just see Luke in the bottom corner laughing his head off. I need to get him in there to see that. Phil's like, oh, I regret this decision having him come on and listen to this. There's no bleep
button.
button on a live broadcast, Phil. Just be aware. We can't add in the bleeps live. But Mike, are you concerned at all with your cruise scheduled that you could fall into Zach's pattern?
I don't. The only concern I have is like where we're going, and this is like the way to see these European countries. Like it's going to be
Mhm.
so nice to just get off in Naples and have pizza and some great food, and then just jump right back on the ship 8 hours later. That's what my
Yeah.
concern is. That's going to hook me because I'm not a whole Caribbean fan because I don't know. I'm not a snob, but I have Florida right here. But there's a lot of destinations that I want to go on.
Now you
No, it's
kill
like-
people when they come from the Northeast and they say, I don't want to eat Italian in Disney because I have good Italian at home. And now you're saying you don't want to go to the Caribbean because you have good Caribbean in Florida.
That is correct.
So you're just a hypocrite.
Because we
That's-
have
I
good
just wanna
weather. No, we
keep
have
that on
good
the
weather
record.
here.
I want to keep that on the record that you're a hypocrite.
We have good weather here, is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay. Fair enough.
I'm stuck on two statements. First of all, Mike saying he's not concerned that if he sees concierge, he's going to go back, and we all know that's a lie.
Oh,
I'm not even talking about
he-
concierge. I'm just talking about cruising in general because he's never done a cruise. And that was like the gateway drug for Zach. He did one cruise
Yeah.
and now he's all in.
Right,
Yeah,
but we
you wake
started
up-
with never going to join DVC. Now he's stalking the contracts. Then it was he's never going to go to Europe, and now this is the best way to see Europe. I can see the way this is going.
You're doing an ABD before, aren't you? Or after?
We're doing an
Before?
ABD. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, so you're
He's-
you're all in.
Yeah,
He's done.
Yeah, we're doing. Yeah, we're doing a little ABD Barcelona parts. Yeah.
He's gonna be like Tony. He's gonna be talking to Susie. Hey, should we rent our points this year so we can do another cruise? Pay for another cruise and another adventure by Disney.
You need a lot of points for that.
Oh, those adventure by Disney things are ridiculously expensive.
Oh yeah, but I want to do the around the world one. Did you look at that, Zach?
Yeah, it's like whatever, $120,000.
$129,000.
129. That's beautiful.
24
bargain.
days or something. 25 days.
Yeah, but you get flown on your own airplane. Get
You're
at
you're
every
flying
single
private.
park.
You stay. Yeah, I mean, come on, it's beautiful.
It's another thing that's not worth it, but it's so tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you got $129,000 to drop on something like that, you don't care if it's worth it or not. You're just
Exactly,
doing it.
because like we've said, nothing's worth it.
No.
Spend $50,000 for a hotel room. Try explaining that to non-Disney lunatics.
Well, we must have clicked on something though, because I think we were all trading photos back and forth about a week and a half ago. They were trying to sell us all a house in Golden Oak.
Thank you. I was wondering why I got that.
Yeah, we all got it. We figured if we pooled the money for everybody that listened to the podcast, maybe we could, I don't know, pay the gardener.
Yeah. You think the DVC people would have filtered by like contract size? Like, yeah, this guy only has 160 points. He's not in the market for a Golden Oaks. But if you have like the Pete Werner 3,000 points, then maybe like.
Not sure he would have passed the credit check on that one.
No, it doesn't sound like it. But that's
Just
another
when you
story.
say that name, I laugh.
You just opened up the can.
Doesn't that name make you laugh, Zach?
I can't believe I took a picture with that guy.
Weren't you the one that was like bumming cigarettes off him outside the Contemporary back in the day?
Contemporary. That's nuts.
And he was way behind the news feed because about 2 weeks later he messages me. Did you hear about Pete Werner? Like,
I don't know.
Let's
how I
engage
missed
again.
that. I don't know how I missed that.
Mike, I'm sure you didn't mind rehabbing that conversation, though, did you?
Every chance he gets.
I just enjoy that. That thing is so messed up.
You know what's very funny though is I was going through our old our Facebook page, looking at all the photos, trying to get some pictures for the intro I did, and there's a lot of pictures of you taking a picture of your TV with Pete Werner on it, just in your studio. You just see it's just like him in different poses, like 8 days in a row or something. Pete Werner.
It's Peter.
I was gonna sneak one into the intro, but I thought that might be a little distasteful, to say the least.
Too soon.
When has that ever stopped you?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's one thing to talk about it; it's another thing to put a picture up. Just such a dirtbag, and it's not surprising. He's the least surprising dirtbag of all time, isn't he?
Right, like there was nobody that looked at that news story and went, "I did not see this coming."
That's a shocker.
Yeah.
I lived next door to him. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Well, I've told you that was what hooked me on the podcast in the first place.
He's got the
Yeah, you
picture.
have mentioned that. Yeah.
There he is.
Is he wearing sunglasses and also has sunglasses on his
Yeah,
jacket?
around his shirt. Yep.
That's kind of baller
That
move. I
was
like
incredible.
that. I like that. Wearing sunglasses and an extra pair hanging on the front of the shirt. That's pretty good.
And does
And
he keep
in
the
between
smokes in the front
courses.
pocket?
No.
You ever notice smokers always have a front pocket?
Mm.
Like, I don't have many shirts that have a front pocket.
You know those sunglasses are like 4 figures too. He's not wearing any
Yeah.
Shady Rays for $54 like me. He's got
Those
he's
are
got
Gucci's.
Yeah, those are Dolce Gabbana or something.
yeah, definitely. Just put it on the corporate card, Pards.
Figure it out
Hey,
later.
What's another 600 on 800K?
Yeah. So everyone here is a DVC person. Zach doesn't use his points anymore. He just rents them
No,
out to pay
that's
for
what
cruising.
my mom was saying something to us the other day about how we got so much like sitting there. It's like, are you guys going to use them? It's like,
What's your use year?
October.
Yeah.
He was
You don't
quick
have
on
any
that
that
one.
going to waste. You got them all.
No, we got them all.
Banked
We
or
have some
whatever.
banked. Yeah.
Are you gonna do something like all out, or you think you're just gonna kind of rent them?
I don't know. I would see us just doing something going all out. Like,
Do you not like the parks anymore? or you're just so big on cruises?
I miss the parks a little bit just because I was thinking about it's like I haven't been to like certain parks in like over a year. Like Animal Kingdom, I haven't been in over a year. But I miss like all the restaurants and stuff just because we're not there enough. It's like if I'm there, I'm there for one night and we get something easy. But yeah, I miss a lot of the restaurants and stuff there.
I don't when I'm not there for a while, I don't miss the parks. I miss just being on property
Mm-hmm.
and like being in different areas and just getting that feeling of being there.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be probably what. But I guess you get that sort of feeling on the cruise. You say it like the cruise
I
line
don't
has the
know.
customer service that Disney
They-
had in the
They
90s.
used to. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Tony, are you a cruise guy?
So I was,
Yeah.
and then kind of took a break and went. My it's weird when you're my age and you say girlfriend, but well, let's just call her fiance. My fiance had never been on a cruise, and I said, you need to go on a cruise. This was this summer. She ended up getting COVID on the cruise and doesn't remember any of it. I didn't get it. Somehow I was immune. But anyway, so she doesn't remember any of it. We did like the SoCal one because I wanted to go on a cruise to Alaska, so that was a practice. Like, oh, can you handle a cruise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously. And but now we're trying to do it again. We're going to do a celebrity in November, Thanksgiving. And then my plan is February to do, I didn't want to do Disney because the price, but then I'm like, I like all you guys, but I love Disney so much. And I've been on a Disney cruise and I go, I know it's more expensive, but I want that. Right.
Yeah, you know what you're getting.
Yeah. So February, we want to do February 25 Disney cruise, and then that summer Alaska, and then we wouldn't be using our points because we wouldn't be flying out from California to Disney World because we'd be going there. So those are my next two, fingers crossed, that I do. But yeah, the Disney cruise is just so much. It's that feeling, like Zach said, you just get that high quality feeling. It's not the same as like Royal Caribbean. When I went on, it's like, oh, it's not Disney.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, what is Disney? Like, I know Zach explained it great. He said it was a service that you used to get in Orlando back in the early 90s, which totally clicked. But like, what to you sets Disney apart from the other cruise lines?
So what I love about Disney is I'm okay with, I always told people I liked asphalt vacations. I don't mind with
I do
Vegas.
too.
Yeah, Vegas. I don't mind Disney because I'm okay with you plan this to make me happy, and I'm okay with that. And I feel like on the Disney cruise, you can tell they planned it to make me happy. Where Royal Caribbean, they kind of did, but it's just not as good. It's like a B version of what Disney does. And it might just even be the characters walking around, but just everything is, not to just piggyback on what Zach said, but it's what it used to be. Why everybody fell in love with Disney is still there on the cruise line. So it's just that feel, just like you have with the resorts. It's a floating resort. It's a floating DVC resort.
Yep.
And the food's phenomenal.
Yep. I think it's as good as you can get on a cruise out of all the cruise. I mean,
that's kind of a qualified statement, though. Is the food phenomenal, or is it just the best cruise food you've had?
Well, he's only done Disney cruises, so it's hard to say, but it seems.
I mean,
it seems like
it's
people
good.
like the.
I haven't had anything that's like, oh, that wasn't good.
Did
like
you
their
do any of the
signature
upcharges?
dining seems to be pretty high end on those cruises.
So we did Palo's Steakhouse on the Wish.
How was that?
And it's as good of a steak as you can get anywhere.
Okay.
So would you equate the meals to, chain restaurant, really good Disney sit down, or Disney signature restaurant on property? I mean, if you had to, I'm just trying to figure out where you're qualified. It's as good as you can get on a cruise statement.
I would say it's really good Disney sit down.
Okay.
It's not signature. Now, if you go like Palo, it's signature. I mean,
that sounds like it's signature plus.
It really is. I mean, and the thing is it's not you have to pay extra for it, but it's not overly like you're not like, oh my gosh, I really just spent $150 on that meal. But if you would go to I don't know what's down by you guys, but like a Hyde Park, something like one of those top end steakhouses where for two people it's $300. For two people at Palo is like $120.
Oh heck, I could drop 4 or 5 bills at a Ruth's Chris without even blinking.
Exactly.
But you did already pay for the ship.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
money's already been spent. It doesn't hurt as bad when you drop
Yeah,
just a
that's
buck and a
true.
quarter
That
on
is
it.
true. How else can I waste some more money, right?
Well, that's the thing with you, Mike, going on that European one. You're like prepaying for all the food on the ship, and then your biggest thing is you want to eat in all these different places, which
have
I
to.
totally understand. But like a big part of what you're paying for is not being utilized, and it's still worth it because that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't blame you. I would do the same exact thing.
I think you're still having breakfast. You're having dinner on the cruise because then you're getting back on by like 5 o'clock at night. So
Yeah. And like I could see doing like a Caribbean cruise where you don't even get off at a port and stay on and just hang out and do the pool and eat and do all that stuff. But yeah, if you're doing the Europe one, you got to go experience those countries if you've never been, especially. Now, Phil, you're not a cruise guy, right? You said any boat you have to be driving it.
Yeah, I mean, I spend my entire day on the water. The last thing I want to do on a vacation is go on a boat, regardless of who's driving it. I actually like what Tony said, asphalt vacation. Everyone asks, why do you go to these places on vacation? Let's say I live in a beach town. I drive by the beach every day, constantly hauling boats off the beach. I drive a boat. I run a boat company. I want to go somewhere that's as far away from the water as possible. Give me that asphalt vacation. Which actually makes me think maybe the next time we all go out together, we need to start dropping some ABD hints to the wives. I could see this maybe being a fun
we could
group
put together a
vacation.
nice WDW Beyond the Games podcast, ABD.
I don't think I'm in the same tax bracket as you guys. That makes me start shaking just thinking about the ABD stuff.
No, you're just responsible. We're in the same tax bracket.
Yeah,
You have fiscal responsibility.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it.
The California one's intriguing to me.
It's very intriguing.
Yeah.
You talk about the walking in Walt's footsteps.
Yeah.
Disneyland stood. That looks
3 or
that
4
looks
days
good.
one. Yeah.
Well, for like a double occupancy, what is that, like $6,000 or
think-
something?
I think it's more like 4 or 5.
Oh, that's a bargain then.
Yeah, for 2 people.
You're saying
And that's what we're going to tell our wives, Gary.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to tell them.
Bargain. Gary said it's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
No. Zach said it's a bargain.
You'd
not
be
taking this
stupid.
hit.
You'd be stupid not to do it.
I don't know if that line's going to fly.
Yeah, no, probably not.
We've already gotten you on the DVC bandwagon for wasteful spending. I mean, you're on board. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, every time Mike and I talk, just the two of us, he asks me when my next contract is. Well, no, you actually say when is our next contract as a collective, like you and I.
You're right.
Both of us. It's going to be like an arms race. This is like the Cold War, Russia.
It totally is.
Right now, I'm ahead by 10 points. Mike's trying to, counterattack. He's going to send me a screenshot of an offer on a 25-pointer soon. Then I'm going to have to come back with like a 40-pointer. It's going to go back and forth.
This is what was known in the Cold War as mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, mutually assured destruction. That's good.
Is anybody interested in the new Poly one when it goes for sale? Yeah.
Phil is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
I'm-
well,
I'm
I
all
own
in
2
on that.
poly contracts, so
Yeah.
it's extremely important to me how that goes.
Oh,
If
how
it
it's
falls
gonna
under
go,
the
yeah.
same association, then I'm probably in for another 50 or 75 points. If
Yeah.
it goes to its own association, then I might dump those 2 contracts and pour it into a condo down there and just go a different direction.
Yeah, that's going to be. I mean, they're very tight-lipped on that. There has been no even hints if it's going to be a new association or not.
I am hopeful that in December, when a few of us attend this meeting, maybe we get a little word on that.
Yeah, my biggest thing is that I'm in Mike's school of thought. It doesn't make sense that they would fold it into the poly. I know you could come up with reasons why they might do it, but I think there's more reasons for them not to. And that's just an outsider hunch kind of view. I have no idea one way or the other. Obviously, I don't know what they're going to do. No one really knows for sure, but it makes more
Financially
sense.
and yeah.
Like the only benefit to folding it in is creating 2 and 3 bedrooms for people who already have contracts, which is good for the contract owners, but that doesn't really benefit Disney. But there's not many studios in this new building, right? If
Yeah,
any,
they've got studios. I mean, I could give you probably 5 or 6 points that I think would benefit Disney for keeping it the same association, but they
Yeah.
desperately want those resale restrictions. That's the
Mhm.
one big thing that's going to push them in that direction. But I could easily come up with 5 or 6 reasons where it would theoretically be a better option for all involved to keep it on the same association, but they lose the resale restrictions.
Yeah, that's a big thing for sure. Yeah, I don't
What's
know.
the big advantage to Disney to not have? I understand why they have resale restrictions, but what do they get out of it? Because it's not like they're giving us anything anymore.
I think it's their opportunity to buy it back.
Okay.
They can buy it back with a better chance of them reselling it for more money.
Okay.
And the resale market exploded in the last 5 to 10 years, and they really desperately want to try and cap that as best they can because they're losing their opportunity there.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
mean, makes sense for them to sell the same contract twice. I mean, that's a beautiful thing for them.
Yeah, I mean Riviera is going for like 160 right now, and then they turn around and sell it direct at 217, 227, whatever it's at now.
Do you guys see there's already a Disneyland Tower
I did.
resale up?
Yeah, that's crazy.
How does that happen? Out of curiosity, like what do you think the back? Like the husband signed the contract and the wife finally found out, and they're
We were
like, "You're
talking
selling
about that
thing."
because you would think I mean, they started selling these like a month ago, so you would think that if you're going to get divorced, you were already kind of in the process where you're not going to spend $30,000. So it's like, like how
Unless you
know.
didn't know that the papers were incoming.
How big was the contract? I saw it for
It
sale,
was
but I didn't see.
150, I believe, right, Phil?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. 125 or 150 is what's sticking in my head. That's a sizable investment there.
Oh, we have a question from the comments. I can show it up here. Jim Lundenberger says, "Have any of you rented points before?" I have. I rented points last summer, whatever, 2021.
Is he asking if we've rented or if we've rented them to people?
Oh, that's a good point. Have we rented to use or sold our points as rentals? I have not sold points as a rental. I have rented someone else's points and stayed Animal Kingdom. I did that in July of 21 to use. Yeah, so I did do that. It was a little nerve-wracking for the first time because there's like a lot of mumbo jumbo on those websites where like, well, once you do this, you can't change anything, and then obviously there's like the 1 out of a million horror story where like, well, the person modified the reservation after I paid all the money and then I lost some. Like, I don't know if that would ever happen on the reputable sites. That's more of a
right.
If I went to Phil and said, all right, book me a reservation, and you show me a confirmation number, and then I Venmo you, $2,400, and then you cancel it after you get the money. Like, there's no recourse for me at that point if it's just the two of us doing it. You know what I mean? At least with a reputable site involved, it could be, there's probably assurances against that. But I had no issues. That I got the confirmation number. I linked it to my Disney experience, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kidani, few nights. I think I ended up paying like $175 per night was the conversion rate, which is no, it was a little more. I'm sorry, it was like $235 a night, but still, that's still crazy. It was almost the exact same per night rate that I paid for Port Orleans with a discount. That's when they were giving the Disney Plus discount at Port Orleans. So Mike had booked it for me, and
I wake up first thing in the morning and I got a text from you. I'm going through my emails. I'm like, oh, this thing just came out hot off the press this morning.
Yeah. So like it was all because I did a split and they were both 4 nights or whatever. I think we were there for 8 nights, and they were each $1,500 basically. So whatever that math comes out to. Yeah, it was worth it. It wasn't too bad. Jim says he's not DVC, but he wants to stay at Wilderness Lodge. That's probably going to be your most economical option to stay there, is renting points. That being said, it's not always easy. If you go in, especially at Wilderness Lodge or some of the ones that are harder to book, it seems like it's not as easy to get a reservation. Like that was one of the things we did when we were booking it. On those sites, you have to put in like first choice, second choice, third choice, and then they'll come back with you and like, well, this is booked up. We couldn't get this, but we had someone that could rent, this one. Does it look good? And then you go from there. So it's not quite as easy as doing it like paying rack rate, but it's definitely a good trade-off because you save quite a bit of money doing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good deal. We had a dedicated reservation at Vero Beach during COVID that somebody
right,
over
you
in
rented
Europe
it
couldn't
too.
use, and
Yeah.
I paid less than $200, and we had an ocean view. I mean, it was a steal, but it was a win-win. They were making a few bucks, and I do like, being able to pay cash from these companies. It's just I like the flexibility of owning. It's tough, like when you have a certain week and you can't find anything.
Yeah, that's
Or
the
your
other
first
thing.
choice is this, or second choice is this, and you can't get it. But
You can't change it at all. You can't
Right.
modify it. Once you make that reservation, that's it. You're
It's
going that
done.
time. So if you are going to rent points and there's any chance of things going sideways, I would definitely recommend trip insurance. Like if you're booking direct through Disney and paying rack rate, I wouldn't do
Right.
trip insurance because you can always cancel. Pretty much you're just going to be out flights if that's a problem. But if you're doing a DVC and you're dropping a couple grand on that and you're renting points, if you miss that trip, that money's gone. You're not getting it back. So I would definitely say trip insurance would be a good way to go for that. We had Ken Cabot commented. He has a nice long comment here. I want to put it in. Said, dropping in to share his congratulations, listening since the preview episode and haven't missed one since. We appreciate that. His favorites were the ones with the terrible delays. And when you could only hear, that was definitely part of it early on. You could only hear one side of the conversation. Looking forward to what's to come. So,
And he even signed it, Por
thank you,
favor,
Ken.
Ken.
Yeah, I mean, we
Because
played the old
anybody who was
intro
ever
for
on
you.
the show was their first name was Por, their middle name was Favor, and
And
their last name was their first name. Yeah.
Yeah, por favor, Mike. Por favor, Gary. Por favor, Cath Atherin. I even played the old intro in there.
I heard it. Yeah,
I noted that.
Had to sneak that in. Blast from the past. Now, speaking of things to come, Mike, did you want to make a little announcement here for all the people watching and listening at home?
Well, isn't this like at the like our 500 show? Isn't this where we just hang up the spikes and just say it's been fun?
Yeah, I mean, we made it to 500. We're like Mean Joe Green. We throw the jersey to the kid,
I mean,
take a
we
Coke
hit
and walk off.
350
Yeah.
with 40 bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
You walk out on top, right?
You want to retire at the peak like John Elway, back-to-back Super Bowls, and just walk away from it all.
I'm waiting for it's going to be Patreon only listening.
Yeah, you guys are all going to get billed for $25.
You are not going to
for
charge
appearing on-
$250 a month though, like other podcasts. Come on.
No, probably just 15.
Yeah,
to
you can
start.
swing 15, can't you? Get a couple 8x11s autographed pictures of Gary and I.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Go
that's
ahead,
a
make
no
your
on
big
the announcement. Is it?
No, that is not the announcement.
So we're not
as usual. As usual, Mike sidetracked himself making an announcement. So
my ADD just said it. I just caught a glimpse of a fly ball. I was wondering if it was a home run. I got the World Series on. So we're going to start another podcast, aren't we?
a second podcast for some unknown reason. But we are. Mike and I are going to have a second venture. It's going to have its own feed. Maybe initially we'll throw a couple on this feed, but we'll do a dedicated feed for it. And it's going to be about something that we are both obviously gearing a lot of the conversation towards. We're going to try to do more of a DVC focused podcast and see how that goes. Look for that in early 2024. Did you want to say the name, Mike? You want to hold that back as a tease?
We could say the name.
Go ahead.
It's called Addicted to DVC.
So that's going to be the podcast coming out in 2024. And we're hoping it's going to be guest heavy. So Mike and I will be doing it, and we want to bring DVC addicts like us on to talk about.
I can't speak for you, Tony, but you'll jump on and help us out, right?
I will jump on and help you out.
We want a West Coast presence. That's what
Yeah,
we're really
absolutely.
lacking right now. So
you guys are gonna give me a contract for the West Coast so I can go and whenever I need to, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna buy. Yeah, we're
Okay,
definitely
okay.
gonna buy you one, maybe two contracts.
I mean, I'll fly down myself, no problem. But
That's very
We had
magnanimous.
to,
of
we
you,
had to
Tony.
get rid of the jet, though. We had to during COVID. We had our accountants were not happy with us, so we did end up getting rid of the jet.
Well, as you may or may not, we've got a lot of comments about where has Eugene been, and I think it's finally, the gag order is up. He was embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars from the show, so we did have to get rid of him. We were in litigation for a while, but Eugene, that's finally been resolved. The settlements have come through, but yeah, that was a big hit for us. The jet, we had to sell the jet. We had to,
He was just our intern IT guy.
yeah,
and he
he figured
completely
out.
screwed us. He would
It was
set
like-
up new studios, like put the computers and the phones in,
Yeah,
and we found out he was siphoning off the top, wasn't he?
yeah, he was doing that Office Space thing where he's getting the half pennies and putting them into a little account and embezzling money. But anyway, we miss Eugene. I still love him even after all that. I can't.
Nah,
say
he
that
was a
at him.
good guy.
He was, even after all that. So, Phil, that was some breaking news, though, before. You said if the DVC, the new Poly building, is its own new association, you might just get out of DVC altogether.
It's a consideration. I mean, we're obviously outgrowing the studios. We need the bigger rooms. Then that leaves me a choice. Do I sell that contract and buy in somewhere where I've got access to bigger rooms at the 11-month mark? Or, as we've talked about on the show, do I just add that into the money I've already got stashed away for a Florida property and up the amount of space we could buy down there? It certainly would make it a conversation for us.
Yeah, breaking news. Ken Cabot says Eugene is now co-hosting with Lou Mangello. So,
That is news.
Little Lou Mangello from New Jersey.
That is news.
Little Lou. Yeah, I mean, I understand that thought process because the studios, like you said, just aren't cutting it for you at the Poly, and your 11-month advantage is not useful for you at this point.
Right. But I mean, again, the flip side of that is if it stays in the same association, I'm going to go and give somebody a whole bunch more money to get myself up over 300.
Yeah. No, I get
So
it.
Phil, I can understand because that's why I got my resale contract. I had a tiny, I had a 100-point contract. I'm like, that's good. I'm fine. And then when I met Tori, and she has a son, I went, okay, when we're coming back, we need a 1-bedroom. And all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to start looking at resale contracts. And that's the exact reason why I got a resale contract. And then, of course, as you are addicted to DVC, first, Pop Century Room's okay. Then a studio, Savannah View's okay. And then, I'd really like to have my own bedroom and a full kitchen. And I want time away from her son, right? So
That's exactly what happened to Gary. Pop Century was okay. And he is a snob just like me and Angry New Phil Jr. I mean, he jumped on board so fast.
I basically skipped the moderates altogether.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I stayed there a couple times, and I was like, oh, the moderates are great for me, and then I just left them in the dust as well.
You had the coffee on the balcony, and it was an awakening moment, wasn't it?
That was it. Doesn't take much.
Tony, tell me about your contracts.
Okay, so I don't know if I like that line of questioning.
Can you tell me about your portfolio?
Yeah,
Your
no,
DVC
yeah.
portfolio, please.
I hate when people call it a portfolio, but just personally, I think that's a little snobbish.
Well,
But everybody loves to call that.
I didn't tell you this, but we're gonna offer portfolio management consultations too. So
That's in the $50 a month Patreon tier.
Okay, yeah. Super good. And you give everybody a nice embossed folder where they can see all their contracts.
That's going to be your title, portfolio manager.
Yeah, there you go. So I have I actually got my DVC out of spite. We can discuss that on another show, on a later episode.
That could be a good episode number
yeah, it
one.
could be.
This is juicy.
Yeah,
What a
yeah,
tease.
Don't tease that.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, my ex-wife didn't ever want me to get one, and then I was with someone who, during a lull, I'm like, forget it. I'm doing this. I'm going to come back here by myself, and that's how I got it. Anyways, but I used it, and then so I have 100 points at Animal Kingdom Lodge because I didn't know what I was doing, and that's what they said was for sale. I said okay, and then never really used it at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then I bought the resale at Animal Kingdom Lodge because Tori, my fiance, just loved having animals right outside the balcony, and since we're going, it's not like we're local anymore, so flying in, I went, might as well get it at the same place, so all my points can be used at the same place. And I got a use year, one's March, one's April, because it was the 200-point contract resale that I got about 8 months ago was that was close and it was a good price. So I said, okay, I can manage it when it's only a month different. So yeah, they're both at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I don't know how people have it at 8 different resorts with 8 different use. I was already stressed for mine with 2 months. I can't imagine having a portfolio. Again, why you need behind the addicted to DVC portfolio management. Because
yeah, absolutely. Everyone
Make
always
sure they're
talks
bonded
about,
and insured.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Everyone talks about having the same use year as being like super important, and I do understand fundamentally. I can like say, okay, that makes sense. You don't want it to, slip through the cracks. But if you have 2 contracts and like one different, 2 different use years, that doesn't seem that crazy. Like, I'd rather have a different use year if it was the perfect contract, like a loaded contract for a really good price resale. It's like, I'll make it work. I mean, that's a sacrifice. If it's saving you X amount of money or it just was the perfect fit for you at that time, I can understand that. Now, if you end up, cobbling together 3-4 different resale contracts into your portfolio, well, you probably don't want December, March, April, and August use years for all 4 different. That could be very cumbersome. But with 2, I think it seems like it wouldn't be too hard to manage. It's going to stay on top of, set those calendar reminders to bank your points by certain times, and you should be good to go.
And for us, after we went once during the summer, I lived in Florida for a little bit, so I was okay. She's like, it is so hot. I never want to come back during the summer. So I went, okay, well, we'll be coming in February then. So like it wasn't that big because it was only a month use year a month different. It didn't make a big deal to me. And so I was like, yeah. And it was good. It was one of those when they the resale store had the like no bargaining. This was the lowest price kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm good. Let's do it.
Now, Gary, did you want to ask Tony what you're hoping that he can do for you, or did you want to wait until you got to know him better?
What was that?
With his 2 Animal Kingdom contracts.
The concierge level? That wouldn't be bad if you
Either
if you
that
see
or
something.
the value studio.
I don't even care about the value studio. The concierge level, I'm willing to swap some points for.
Yeah, I looked into the concierge level, and my fiance is more fruit. As I'd rather you save the points, and I went, well, why don't we just use it all for concierge? But since we're doing if we go back just us 2, I could see that definitely being on the horizon. But with the kid for the 1 bedroom, like no, he wouldn't appreciate it.
Now, have you looked at the 11-month? Is it impossible? Like, do you have to get up at 8 in the morning or 5
So
in the morning your time?
I did that for the last 2 trips just on my own because I was scared. So I don't know if it was necessary or not. Right?
So you were able to book concierge?
Oh no, not concierge, just for
Okay.
my Savannah View, no
Oh, okay.
problem. Yeah, I didn't. I've since looked back, and of course it's gone. And I know that President's Week is kind of busy, and it's always right butts up to the marathon, so that could be an issue. But I know I did the middle of the night. I did that, so I do my food reservations too, just in case, because I get nervous about that kind of stuff. But I didn't. I can't tell you whether concierge was available or not.
That seems like probably that gets walked a lot because there's only what 4 or 5 studios concierge level, I think. I imagine those are getting walked for weeks, if not longer. I just have to assume, because Phil, how long did you have to walk your Grand Cal again?
I walked it for 6 weeks. Did I have to walk it that far? No, but I was determined that we were going to get that trip in, and I wanted Grand Cal. I had saved and banked points for it, so I wasn't taking any chances.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on walking. If you happen to wake up a little late and you miss that modify, you're just done at that point, basically, right?
It's a possibility, but the idea being that you're, especially with the longer trips, if you're booking far enough out, you give yourself a little bit of a cushion on the back end that you hopefully won't lose that far day if you miss it just a
right,
little
because
bit.
that 7-month window wouldn't be open for someone if that's
Exactly.
their first day. I got
Yeah, so I jumped in when I saw it was either 5 or 6 days, 7 days. I can't remember how long we
In a
were there.
row.
The first
Yeah.
chance I saw that I had a window that big, I jumped in there. And I think along the way I was watching it, and there were actually a couple of days that I forgot about it, and I jumped back in and it was no problem. But that's because most of the trips, especially at Grand Californian, are not going a whole week. They're in much smaller little spurts. They're 2-day, 3-day, 4-day trips. So as long as I was booking out 7, I had a little bit of a cushion on the backside that it didn't affect me.
I gotcha. That's interesting. So the biggest key is to get the length of stay that you want and then just move it down the line as far as you can.
Yeah, I mean, but
For
you
as
know me,
long
I'm
as you
OCD. I was pretty nuts every morning about, unless work got in the way and I was 10 miles offshore, it
Yeah.
typically wasn't a problem.
I just know my luck that one day it's like boop, no longer available. All right, have a good day back at Saratoga Springs for me.
And you know me, I mean, I was adamantly against walking as a concept, but if you want that room over there, that's just the game you got to play. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, you have to do it. It's like the steroid era of baseball. If you wanted to compete, you have to do it. You
I
can
mean,
be
it was
against
worth
it,
it.
but you're at a disadvantage without it.
The kids loved it. I mean, they absolutely had a blast at that resort. They were super excited to go there. They're already asking when we can go back to Disneyland. They absolutely loved that trip. Yeah, Luke's over there nodding his head on screen.
I'm gonna be interested to see if that changes anything with the Disneyland villas. You don't think, Tony?
It's going to be
Okay,
tough
so-
because those don't have resale where the Disneyland does. So there's going to be a lot more people fighting for that Grand Cal still.
And then here's my not local, but more local than you. But I'm a magic key holder. I hate that term. I like being saying annual pass, and I go every like 6 to 8 weeks, right? And I used to live down there. And the problem is, you go to Disneyland. The villas, as of right now, aren't a complete resort. Grand Californian, you could, as Bill will probably attest to, you could stay the whole trip there and get everything you need, but the villas, you have to, I say off campus, you have to go off campus to do anything or get anything in terms of the amount of restaurants they have, things like that.
Right.
Compared to all of the DVC resorts in Florida where they're self-contained, and as Mike would attest to, that can be your trip. I'm just going to go to the resort. Where the villas, it's more like you're next to the other resorts. And so that's just I'm very down on the villas for that reason, that they don't have the full sit down restaurant. They don't have all the things you need, like Animal Kingdom Lodge, for example.
Yeah, they did just announce though that they're opening that
Mhm.
bar and stuff will have some food. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
But
better.
but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, we opened a bar.
Right.
Okay, but I'm paying. How much am I paying? Not for my contract, for my hypothetical contract. When if I was at Beach Club, I would have all those restaurants and walking distance to other restaurants. I know the Disneyland villas, they're going to say, well, you have downtown Disney, and once all those new restaurants open, and you have Grand Californian. But if you compare the two, the Grand Californian is a full resort.
It's very surprising to me that they didn't reopen Steakhouse 55.
Yeah,
It just
what's
doesn't
the
make any
story
s-
with that?
Yeah, they did in. I'm still angry. They did it in
During
in
COVID.
Disney World. Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
Steakhouse
Steakhouse
71.
71.
That's on my to-do list when I go back in February because I missed Steakhouse 55. And then they're going to reopen it as a bar. Sorry, now you're getting me on my soapbox. They're going to reopen it as a lounge. I don't understand. So I'm paying how much if I'm paying rack rate, and I don't have I had a steakhouse, but now I have nothing.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Do you know why they closed it?
I'm just thinking it was staff. I mean, remember the resort was closed for almost a year.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's California be California.
Had you
So-
had you eaten there?
Oh yeah.
Is it
was one of my,
solid?
it's Steakhouse 71 is Steakhouse 55. That's why I'm bitter.
No, but I think Steakhouse 55 was a
even
higher
more-
end.
It was higher end, yeah.
It was higher end, but what was great about it is you could get in no problem. It was almost like nobody knew about it. You could eat breakfast there, nice. Like it was
Yeah, the menu looked amazing. And I always said next time I go out there, I gotta hit this place. I'm so disappointed that they closed it.
Yeah, I went. That was one of my go-tos, and the thing was, you would get a discount with your pass, so you'd get that 20% off a steakhouse. Where my whole thing is, if I'm going to Ruth's Chris and paying, like Phil was saying, like $400 or $500, there I might only pay $300, but I'd be the same high quality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still
I think
angry about.
the only thing I could think of, and it's total speculation, is that just the clientele is so different at Disneyland that the people don't care about the food like we do at Disney World.
Because
Like,
we're
people-
more leisure and they're just more.
You're on vacation there and you're stuck there. And not in a bad way, but like when you go there, you're there for however long your trip is. I would say 90% of people that stay at a Disney hotel probably don't leave property the whole time they're on vacation there.
Well, it's
Or
much more of a
80%.
quick serve centric park as well. I mean, their quick serve is
That's what I'm
every
saying.
bit as good as a lot of the sit downs at Walt Disney
Yeah.
World. Plus, it's weird going over there. It's this duality of people have no problem walking across harbor to go to the drugstore, but God forbid you've got to walk all the way over to the Disneyland Hotel from the Grand Californian to get a steak. It's just a weird, different feel there.
You're right. You're right. That's yeah. You're right. I had my ex brother-in-law. I guess he used to be custodial, and he said the amount at Disneyland, and he said the amount of McDonald's wrappers that were in those trash cans every morning was like that's all you saw, because you can walk across the street to a McDonald's there, no big deal, or a Panera or whatever. So it's such a different. That story wasn't really a good one. Sorry. I was like, it kind of made sense, but anyways, the point is that you can always go across the street.
Yeah.
And I think what Phil said was, as someone who goes all the time, exactly right. Because I was looking at when Mike's like, oh, what are your go-to restaurants there or whatever, and I said, you know what, the sit down at Disneyland isn't as good as the sit down at Disney World, but the quick service is better. It's all the quick services are good, and kind of rewiring my brain from Disney World, where it's all about sit down and okay, I'm gonna go to Le Cellier, I'm gonna go to Steakhouse 71. Now I'm back, and it's I don't want to make a reservation. I'll just eat at 5 different counter service places and snack throughout the day.
Yeah, Bengal barbecue.
Yes.
Yes.
When we were planning Disneyland, I'm looking at, I'm so used to being in the Walt Disney World mode where you're planning your dining reservations. And my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, their family live 30 minutes from the park. They're Magic Key holders. They're there all the time. And she kept saying, you don't have to do it that way here. The quick serve's that good. And I just couldn't process it. Having now gone to Disneyland and had their quick serve, if we had half as good of the quick serve they have at Disneyland at Walt Disney World, we wouldn't need the sit down restaurants like we do. Their quick serve, if you haven't been there, is infinitely better than what you get in Florida. It's not even a contest.
And I would say that their sit down is much worse. There's like the
Agreed.
high end, but then there's nothing really. Everything else, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, we had a couple of good sit down meals, but their quick serve is just where it was at, and we were not disappointed at any point. It's not the same crappy hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken fingers. It's that good.
Yeah. No, I've definitely, that seems to be the MO at Disneyland, is that, quick serve is the way to go, which that's going to be a culture shock for you, Mike, when you're out there, because you're all about those sit downs.
Yeah.
And like having the time, and there's just not the quantity of them. And apparently the quality either. They're just not, that's not what they focus on. They're focusing on the quick serve, and that's okay, but it's just very different, like you said.
And I always, and as someone who, when I came back out here I used to travel for work. So I went to Florida with this no state income tax and being close to Disney World. So I was in Orlando, and I got used to sit down. And then when I came back out here, it was a culture shock for me. It took like about 2 or 3 trips before I finally started giving into Tori and going, okay, you're right. We don't need to make reservations. We won't eat. We'll eat at Bengal Barbecue. We'll eat at this snack place. Well, because it's a different mentality. And because there's limited, I still check, because we're going down in December, and I've been checking for, okay, there are any reservations, and there's not a lot available, but part of that is because there's not as many.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think their sit downs are that much worse than Walt Disney World. You just don't have the plethora of options that you have in Florida.
Because they have all, and I was looking for the new Great Maple that's opening in Pixar Pier, see if I could try that early, and it's not. It's still not. The reservations aren't available yet, but I'm interested in that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep trying. Michael, is there anything else that you want to talk about this evening? We're getting over that magic 1 hour mark where we can probably stop the recording. We can stay on live if you want, but we can.
Yeah, I just real quick. We're going to talk quickly about Disneyland restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we have opening up on what's on the horizon?
Okay, so no pressure, but I just so you know, I saw some extreme pressure when I got to find something. But the new Palm Breeze Bar is opening at the DVC Villas at Disneyland Hotel. It's going to open November 2nd. So I'm hoping in December I can get there. I don't know if I have to show any special proof that I'm a DVC member, but their menu, and I think I've got to go back to the other screen and see who's okay. Zach was saying that menu, it just dropped and it looked really good. And let me show you where those are. Sorry.
I did think that while you're looking it up, I did think they said that you don't have to be staying there. You can just walk over there.
Okay, good. Thank you for reading completely, because I did not. Let's see. Where's it? Okay, there it is. You got, and you're going to make me do Spanish. Cocktail de mariscos, fresh market fish, Gulf shrimp, snow crab, claw, and avocado shareables. Ahi tuna tataki, avocado and lime hummus dip with crudité vegetables, espelette, don't know what that is, and crispy pita. I know I'm not cultured enough to know what that is. Cheese fry poutine. This made me want to go. Demi-glace, cheese sauce, as soon as you say cheese. Chive sour cream and pimento. Cocktail chicken wings with a bourbon barbecue glaze, chili aioli. There's 2 salads, a beet salad and a Southwest salad, like I just skipped over those. Sandwiches, jumbo lump crab roll, Palm Breeze burger with sun-dried tomato and basil pesto, arugula served with french fries. I'm going as fast as I can. Spicy crisp chicken sandwich, zesty slaw, spicy aioli, bread and butter pickles served with french fries, artisan personal pizzas, a charcuterie pizza, isn't all pizza technically got charcuterie on it? Anyways, I mean, I'm just saying, artisan cured. Well, no, I'm not going to do the Italian with all these guys, with all you guys.
Mozzarella.
Yeah, thank you.
Do it.
Yes, okay. It's prosciutto, but they okay. Pepperoni, sausage, and sun-dried tomato. 4 cheese California pizza with mozzarella, cheddar, and jack cheeses with chev, marinated tomato and fresh basil. Garden pizza. There's a kids menu. Mike refuses to let us talk about the kids menu. They shouldn't be there. Desserts, beignets filled with chocolate, passion fruit, and mixed berry. Chocolate chip cookie sandwich with chocolate chip cookies and vanilla ice cream. Chocolate cake, hot fudge with cream and silver almonds. And there's a bunch of different cocktails.
This place sounds legit.
Okay, so but that also proves what Phil was saying about that's a counter, like it's not really a sit down, but look at that menu for a non-sit down restaurant.
If that were Walt Disney World, I could right now tell you the 6 items that would be on the menu, just across the board. No surprises there.
Yeah, they'd get rid of all the unique stuff.
And I think it's because there's so many return visitors. Like that's got to be the reason.
Yeah.
Because so many people come back and then, or come whenever their pass is available after work. And just like I would go there. I would take that walk, despite how far it is, to go there. And then Great Maple is another restaurant that's opening in the Pixar Pier Hotel.
Yeah, because they just showed some of those renovations just got finished up, right?
Yeah, and these are this is supposed to open in November, and I've been checking reservations on the app. It says to check the app, and it's not there. And for those that are not West Coasters, I didn't mean that disparagingly. That's a horrible way to say it because I know what people think about people on the West Coast. And then, of course, I throw that in there to say it just like that. But Great Maple is a restaurant in Newport Beach and Pasadena and San Diego. So I will say I'm a little disappointed that we're just going to throw it out to some other company and put it in the hotel. But that's just my own, like everything Disney to be Disney, even though they probably will do a good job. They have an all-day menu, so you can basically get brunch and stuff all day. I don't want to list everything unless you ask me to, but they have pancakes, fried chicken and donuts, chilaquiles. I'm excited to try that. Smoked bacon scramble, modern American breakfast. It's a huge menu. Then they also have New York steak, lemon shrimp pasta, grilled chicken bowl, maple pecan crusted salmon, turkey bolognese, chef's market fish.
That was well done.
Thank you. I did take one acting class in college, so that's why I was,
So you're acting like you're Italian. Yeah.
Yeah, we focused on our one. That was my whole unit was just on saying food.
How is the Tony not Italian?
I'm not, but I got an Italian
That's crazy.
name. I know. I spent my whole life with everybody going Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah. So I just let it go. That's okay.
So that sounds like there's a couple new sit-down-ish places coming.
Great Maple is sit down.
That's good.
And somehow the villas didn't get a sit down, but Pixar Pier got a sit down, and Steak 55 in the Disneyland Hotel isn't a sit down.
Yeah.
But Great Maple is. And if I can try it, I will let you guys know what I find out. If we
now, I want to know
in December.
One last thing before we wrap it up, since Phil and Luke are the most recent visitors to Disneyland, especially East Coast, like those East Coast guys moving over to the West Coast. What would you advise Mike to try when he goes out there?
Go ahead. What did you tell me your favorite restaurant was?
I was thinking Dubai was really good. I just like the nice, calm, low-key, White by Pirates. I had really good memories with that restaurant. We went out with my grandparents, and it was their last night there. I sat with my cousins, and I think I had spaghetti and meatballs, if my memory serves. That was really good.
I heard that place is solid.
It really is.
It's good, huh?
Yeah.
And that's one of those sit downs that's very sought after. I know, like, people want to go there because it's in the Pirates ride. So that's like, I feel like that's something you got to try to do, Mike, because you're going to be doing
Yeah,
the
no
part.
doubt. Yep.
It's
And I
a
think
cool
they have
vibe.
do they have jambalaya? Because it's
Yep.
New Orleans themed, right?
Yeah.
Jambalaya.
It's
The
New
fillet
Orleans
there
there.
was excellent. It was a really good fillet, but it's just kind of cool to sit there and watch the Pirates ride. And plus, you get to know you're sitting right downstairs from the people with a lot of money at Club 33.
Talk about a different tax bracket.
Is it a difficult reservation?
No, I think I scored a table for 5 and a table for 6 with no problem whatsoever. I mean, especially if you're just, going with your wife, a table for 2. I think as long as you're at the reservation date, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, isn't it 30 days there? Because I remember
60. It's 60.
okay.
Is it
And
60?
60. Yeah.
Did you go midweek?
Yes, we did.
So that's the one thing is everything's crazy different on the weekends because everybody like me that lives anywhere within a 1 hour plane flight descends. And so when I can't find reservations because it's the weekend, because everybody's going versus the Grand Cal for a week, midweek when you can enjoy yourself.
So try to get that reservation in the middle of the week, Mike.
Okay.
Plus, January is a pretty slow time for Disneyland. I know. So that should be good. Anything else you want to ask Mike while you have all these West Coast experts on here? This is probably the most like Disneyland experience we've ever had on the show because Zach's been out there a few times, and
we don't talk Disneyland.
Well, we don't have a lot of experience with it.
Napa Rose, have you been there? Real quick, as we close out. It's good. Like that's
it's
like
it's great.
Okay.
It's great. It's expensive and it's worth the price, and it's on its own. You know it's good when they don't accept any kind of discount. Like out here, you get discounts for everything with a magic key, more so than you did at Disney World. And here they'll ask you, do you have a pass? Do you have a magic key? Or your magic key? That's the one place where they won't give it to you, and that tells you it's good. It's great. And if you can never do a chef's counter, that's amazing. But it's worth it's the best restaurant in other than possibly Club 33. It's by far the best restaurant.
Now you've never gotten in there, have you?
Where, Club 33?
Yeah.
I may have had an opportunity to be in there before. I don't have that opportunity anymore, but at one point. So, okay, back in the day, you used to be able to get it for silent auctions. Like they would let you, who would have it would allow people to get in. And my ex-father-in-law got it for a silent auction once. But apparently they put the kibosh on that. But it used to be a thing at like the local Catholic school or whatever, when it was like fundraiser day, that would always show up. And when you lived in SoCal. And so I got in that way.
Sweet.
But apparently they've stopped doing that. Which
they don't like that. They didn't like people like you showing up.
No, they didn't.
They can't have the unwashed masses sully.
No, exactly. The deplorables cannot show up in.
That's one of those places that like make you sign a contract when you go into. Like you can't take pictures in there. They don't want you talking about it. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. I now regret that I didn't appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have gotten to go in.
So can you talk about it on an upcoming podcast?
Not enough. It's so long ago. Like I don't remember. It was great food and it was fancy. That's all I like. And that was pre-social. Was that pre-social media? Yeah, those early days. Yeah, no, I don't I hate to say I don't. Everybody who's listening hate me, but I don't remember enough to talk about it because I wasn't like taking notes. I wasn't everything, and I'm going to share the story, online or whatever. It was just the experience, and you go, and it was more of I got to go in. That's exciting. And then you went in, and
Mike, how much would you pay for an opportunity to shop in the Club 33 gift shop?
Probably quite a bit. How sweet would it be to have whatever I don't even know if they have T-shirts, but
they do. They have polos,
some bringbacks.
Yeah.
I know they have I don't know how big it is. Like obviously you can't even see pictures of it, but you see people wearing Club 33 stuff. So
okay, there is. It's like a little closet almost. And it
Okay.
was like, if I remember, okay, now I'm trying to remember. Maybe if I go through some hypnosis.
Is it kind of like
And
when you go to a restaurant and they have like a Twin Oaks shirt and hat that you can buy, or
Yes, yes,
like a
yes.
coffee cup? Yeah. I can
Yeah,
totally see
like
it now.
that.
Yeah.
And then they go back and get it for you. Now that I'm remembering, at one point I had a polo. Of course, that's gone. And I was probably a different size back then. But they had a polo. They had like a dry fit Nike hat. They had like cups, and that you would just tell them what you wanted, and then they would go back and bring it out to you. And I remember one of the, now I'm remembering. I'm slowly coming back to me.
It's all coming
I
back.
promise I'm not making. Yeah, I'm not making this up. That they were out of one of the things I wanted. I do remember that. And to make it even worse, you're gonna never let me talk on the show again. I had a Club 33 hat that someone else gave me, and back in my travel days, I left it at an airport, San Diego
that's
Lindbergh
bad.
Field.
Oh, that's bad.
I went back to the airport and tried to went to Lost and Found. It's my freaking Club 33 hat. So some loser is walking around with a Club 33 hat. It had no connection. But I lost that thing.
Probably a custodian just threw it in the garbage.
Yeah, it doesn't. I have no idea what it means.
You could have put it on eBay for like $200.
Yeah.
How big of a flex is it just to be sporting your Nike dry fit Club 33 quarter zip waiting in line at Pirates of the Caribbean?
You're balling right there, aren't you?
It's like when you once in a while catch a glimpse of someone with the Club 33 Magic Band. You're like, oh, you son of a gun. You see that? I don't know. I think I'd spend more money in the Club 33 gift shop than I would at the Augusta National gift shop. But
is that next on our list, Pards? You gonna drop a Club 33 membership on the wife with dinner tomorrow?
I think even if I had the income, it's like a 25-year waiting list, isn't it? Something stupid.
I don't think in Orlando it is. They have.
Oh, I thought it was a long waiting list for it, but I have
Is
no
Orlando bad?
I haven't inquired.
I don't even have enough money to ask the question.
Yeah.
They just see my caller ID and just write to voicemail.
Yeah. The
But they'll offer you
$2,500 inquiry.
But they'll still check to see if you want to buy a golden oak.
11.4 million. That was the one I wanted.
Interest rates are a little high. I'm waiting for them to come back down before I make that
That
investment.
will be good.
Right. At 2%, I'm a player, but not at 6.5.
Yeah, exactly. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this 500th episode. We do appreciate it, especially Mike Schaefer. He made a big impact on this week's episode, so thank him for coming on at the beginning and making his mark on the podcast. We'll have to have him on again soon in a better audio situation. But
he probably
Tony,
said the
thanks
most
for coming on for your
intelligent things
first
we
one.
heard tonight.
Yeah,
that's a
It
good
was probably
point.
very riveting, and we just couldn't listen. We
Yeah.
couldn't hear it.
Very good point. But Zach, good to have you back. Haven't talked to you in a while.
Yep.
Phil, a pleasure as always.
Good to see
you.
you,
Brought
boys.
the smarter member of your family with you this week, Luke, and we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us for an hour or so. Tony, we'll have you back again soon. We appreciate you coming on. That's going to do it for episode number 500. Mike, do you want to plug the YouTube page? We got people probably watching on the YouTube page right now. But what do we got coming up on youtube.com/@WDWBTG?
We've got another walk.
Another
a
walk.
4K
We like
walk
it.
from Saratoga back over to Old Key
You
West.
got the walk back. So you could watch them back to back and get like
you
a
can walk
whole
them back to back.
breakdown. Yeah.
But this time I'm walking the golf course and guys are trying to hit into me.
You got lost a little bit.
Yeah, I got turned around.
You could like piece your day together like CSI. You could be like David Caruso, CSI Miami. You see you like starting here, you eat at Artist Palette, you go back, you walk through the golf course. We could trace your steps the whole way that day.
That's true.
All through the YouTube page. So go to youtube.com/@WDWBTG. All of our social medias are at WDWBTG, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our Facebook group, the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast family. Our website, WDWBTG.com. You can email us info@WDWBTG.com, Mike at WDWBTG.com, and Gary at WDWBTG.com. Thanks so much, everyone out there listening. 500 episodes. It's insane that we made it this far. I question my own sanity on a daily basis. But either way, we're going to keep going strong. Another 500 coming at you. So we're going to keep chugging along. And like Mike said, we're going to, for some reason, add a second podcasts to our resume here and in the new
To our
year.
portfolio.
So stay tuned to our portfolio.
Our
So stay
podcast
tuned for that
portfolio.
as well. So for my co-host Mike, for Zach, for New Phil Jr., Tony, and Luke, and Mike Schaefer, thank you so much for joining us on the 500th episode of the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. M-I-C
See you real soon.
K-E-Y.
Why? Because we like you.
M-O-U